Hello students, today we will study about chapter Introduction to Euclid Geometry, which is chapter 5 of class 9th NCERT. So first of all, we will study about the general definition. The first definition is definition of a surface. A surface refers to the outer layer or boundary of a solid object. It is a part of the solid that can be seen and touched. Let's look at the figure first to understand this definition in a better way. Consider this solid. This one is a solid. Here as we can see, this part, here as we can see, this part and this part, such kind of parts are said to be the surfaces. Are said to be the surfaces. How? These are the outer layer or the boundary of the solid object. This whole object is a solid and this highlighted part is the outer layer of this solid. So these are the surfaces basically. And it can be seen and it can also be touched. Now the boundaries of the surfaces. Here as we can see, this is the surface. Its boundaries as we can see, its boundaries are these blue highlighted lines. These are the boundaries. These are the boundaries. I am highlighting all the boundaries here. These are the boundaries. So these boundaries can be curves or the straight lines. In this solid, these boundaries are the straight lines, but in some solid, it can be the curves also. These lines end in points. How? As we can see, these blue lines are ending at some points. These points. So, as we can see, now again look at this definition again. A surface refers to the outer layer of the solid object. This is a solid object and the highlighted part and these boundaries or the outer layer of this solid object, these and these are the surfaces. And the boundaries of these surfaces are the straight lines. These are the straight lines. These are the straight lines. And these straight lines end in points. These are the points. Let's look at the elements. So as the name of this chapter is Introduction to Euclid Geometry. So Euclid was a scientist who has also invented some elements, who has talked about some elements also in maths. The first element is a point. A point is that which has no part. Suppose I am drawing any point. This is a point. As you can see, this pink thing is a point. This is a point. So as we can see, it has no part. It has no width, no length, no height. It has nothing. So it means a point has no part. A line is breathless length. What do you mean by this? Let me draw a line. So as we can see, this line has a length. This line has a length. Let me draw this line again for you. This line has a length, but it has no breadth. So a line is breathless length. It means it has length, but it has no breadth, which means it is breathless. The ends of a line are points. How? This is a line, and as we can see, these two are points here. These two are points here. So the ends of a line are points. A straight line is a line which lies evenly with points on itself. So what do you mean by this? A straight line. Let me draw any straight line here. If I am drawing any straight line here, it lies evenly, means it lies evenly means it has no breaks in between them. And with points on itself, like we can find point on itself like how? Let me find some points on this line. Like this is a point. This is a point. This is a point. So at any, we can find points on this straight line. I am pointing that points with this line just to make you understand that where we can find the points. So we can find infinitely many points on this straight line. Even at this point, we can find a point. Here also we will have a point. Here also we will have a point. So on a straight line, we have so many points. Like at any position, we can find a point on a straight line. So a straight line is a line which lies evenly. Evenly means it has no breaks in between with the points on itself. It means a straight line has many points. On any position, at any position on a straight line, we can find a point. Let's learn about some more elements. Another one is a surface. We have already talked about the surface. A surface is that which has length and breadth only. Like in this, we can see, like here we can see, here we have this surface, we have this surface. So it has length and breadth only. It has length and breadth only. Like this thing is length and this thing is breadth. But we have no height here. So a surface has only length and only breadth. The edges of surfaces are lines. Here we've already seen the edges of the surface like this. These are all edges and these are straight lines. A plane surface is a surface which lies evenly with straight line on itself. For example, let me take a same example again. Like this is a like this is a plane surface. This is a plane surface. So a plane surface which is a surface which lies evenly with straight line on itself. How it has straight lines? As we can see, here we have so many straight lines. We can draw a straight line on any surface like this. So we can draw so many straight lines on a surface. So a plane surface is a surface which lies evenly. Evenly means a surface has no breaks in between with the straight lines on itself. Now we will talk about the axioms. So axioms are very important usually in an exam. If we talk about chapter 5, they normally ask about the axioms, about the definitions or about the postulates. We've already talked about the definitions. Now we will study about the axioms. After that, we will talk about the postulates. So all these things are very, very important. Generally, such kind of things only come in the exam from this chapter. So let's talk about the first axiom. Things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. This means, for example, if A is equal to B and C is also equal to B. Sorry. So here things which are equal to the same thing means A is also equal to B and C is also equal to B. So A and C are equal to the same thing which is B. It means A is equal to C. So things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. Since A is equal to B and C is also equal to B, it means A is equal to C. Let's look at the second axiom. If equals are added to equals, the whole are equal. Suppose A is equal to, let's take another example here. Suppose X is equal to X and Y is equal to Y. Obviously here X is equal to X and Y is equal to Y. So if equals are added to equal, these are equal and these are also equal. So if equals are added to equals, it means if we add these and if we add these, then again those whole will be equal. It means X plus Y is equal to X plus Y. So it means if equals are added to equals, if if equals if equals are added to equals, then the wholes are equal. Now let's look at the third axiom. The third axiom is if equals are subtracted from equal. Now here, if we subtract both of these, so what we will get? X minus y is equal to x minus y. So it means if equals are added, then also the wholes are equal. And if equals are subtracted, then the remainders are equal. Let's look at some more axioms. Things which coincide with one another are equal to one another. Coincide means like if I draw any two straight lines, like if I have drawn this line, now if I draw one more line with which coincide with this one, like this. So since these two lines are coinciding with each other, it means they are equal to one another. The whole is greater than the part. It means like this is a whole and this is a part of this and this is a part. So this whole, so this whole is greater than the part. Let's look at the next axiom now. Things which are double of the same thing are equal to one another. Things which are double of the same thing. Suppose A is also double of B and C is also double of B. It means these things are double of the same thing, B. So this implies things which are double of same thing are equal to one another. So this implies A is equal to C. Things which are half of the same thing. Things which are half of the same things means suppose A is half of B and C is half of B. It means both A and C are half of the same thing B. So it means A is equal to C. So these are the 7 axioms and these are very, very important for the exam purpose. Now look at the Euclid postulates. Let's look at the first one. A straight line may be drawn from any one point to any other point. Like if I'm taking this point. So a straight line may be drawn from any one point. If I'm drawing a straight line from this point, then it can be drawn to any other point. Like this point. So a straight line may be drawn from any one point to any other point. It means we can draw a straight line by taking any point to any other point. A terminated line can be produced indefinitely. Terminated line, for example, this is a terminated line. Terminated line means it is an ending. Here it is ending. This line is ending at these 2 points. It can be produced indefinitely. We can produce this line further also. We can produce this line. We can produce this line, this terminated line further also. Let's look at postulate 3. A circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. Like suppose I take this as center and I take this as radius. So I can draw a circle using a compass. Now if I suppose I take this as center and this as radius. So again using compass only I can draw a circle. So circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. Let's look at postulate 4 now. All right angles are equal to one another. Why? Because all right angles are equal to 9 degree. So all right angles are equal to one another. Now look at postulate 5. This is the most important postulate out of all the postulates. Please listen to this postulate very carefully. It's little bit tricky and it's little bit tough here. If a straight line falling on two straight lines, like here as we can see, here as we can see, here as we can see, this straight line is falling on these two straight lines. PQ is falling on AB and CD. Makes the interior angle on the same side of it. Makes the interior angle. Where are the interior angle? Makes the interior angle. So these two are the interior angles. Less than two right angle. As we can see, these two angles are not right angles. Are not right angles. So if again let's read these two lines again. If a straight line falling on two straight lines, PQ is falling on AB and CD, makes the interior angles on the same side of it taken together less than two right angles. It means if I'm taking these two angles are obviously not equal to 90 degree as we can see the figure. So if we find the sum of these two angles, it will be less than the two right angle. Less than two right angles means each right angle is equal to 90 degree. So two right angles means 180 degree. So since these two angles are not equal to 90 degree, so their sum will be obviously be equal to less than two right angles means their sum will be less than 180 degree. Then the two straight lines if produced indefinitely. Now if I produce these two lines indefinitely, meet these two lines will meet on that side on which the sum of angle is less than two right angle. Here as we can see, these two lines will meet at this point. So again, we will read this postulates. If a straight line falling on two straight lines makes the interior angles on the same side of it taken together less than two right angles, then the two straight lines, if produced indefinitely, meet on the side on which the sum of angle is less than two right angles. So that's all for today's class. In the next class, we will talk about the question which usually come from this chapter in the exam. Thank you very much.